All right, everybody, so let's get started. So this is going to be a very quick video on how to create your own personal ChatGPT model by using a pre-trained large language model from HuggingFace. So this whole project has 4 steps. The first step is to install and import all the necessary packages we need. The second step is to create an HuggingFace account so that we can establish the connection between the HuggingFace library and the our Python environment so that we can import the large language model. The third step is importing the large language model from the Hugging Face library itself to our environment. And the fourth and the final step is where we create the user interface and an interesting chat function through which we can converse with the model. And this is the place where we also add the persona, which in this case will be the model to be my personal assistant. So by adding this persona, we will make the model aware that this is a primary responsibility, and it should keep in mind that it should be aware of that particular persona when it communicates or responds back to us. All right, so let's get started by importing the packages we need. All right, so these are the packages we need. While this loads, let's go ahead and set up the Hugging Face library, set up a connection with the Hugging Face library. So all right, so let's go to Hugging Face. So by default, this is how the Hugging Face home screen will look like. But if you haven't created any account with it, you can create a new account for free. But if you already created a new account, so this is how your page will look like. So if you want to get an access token so that we can create the link between Hugging Face and our Python environment, you can go to your profile, click on settings, and click on access tokens. And if you're new to this place, you have to click on new token and create a new token. But since I've already worked on this, I'm going to copy the token I already have. Then I'm going to create a variable called token. Open this. Oops. Copy this again. Right, paste it here. Sweet. Now that is that, and we have also got the models the packages imported. So we can now smoothly move on to the next step, which is going to be importing the LLM model. So in this case, we are going to import LLAMA 2, which is one of the recently released large language model from Meta or Facebook. All right, so now our model is imported into the environment. Next, we have one last step, which is to create the chat function and create the user interface so that we can test our model. All right, so let's go create that out. All right, so now we have finished writing the entire function. Now let me explain the functions to you. So I've just basically created a function, and which I've set the max length to 2000. So if you want to use a max length, you can use it, or if you don't want to have a set max length condition, you don't have to use it. What it actually means is that, so when the number of conversations or tokens, like including both the user or human and the conversation or the AI models, reaches a 2000 limit, it will say max usage limit reached, goodbye, whatever print function you give. All right, and it'll end the chat. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. But this is the next step, is where we add the persona. So I've just named the model Brent, and I've said an agent developed by Ronit Sharma on top of LLAMA 2 to serve. All right, there's a spelling mistake. Serve as his personal assistant. I have great knowledge in various topics and give short and precise answers. So this is a persona of the model. So, and we should make the model to always be aware of it and always remember this. All right, the best way to do is to add the persona in the conversation history. So I've created a conversation history variable called conv here, and I've added the persona here. So the persona will be the first layer in the conversation history as soon as the model or the chat app starts. All right, then you enter your user, or this like user input, which will be the prompt. And if your user prompt is clear chat, when you type clear chat, delete the whole conversation history. If you say end, it will end the conversation. And then what I'm doing is that I'm adding the user input to the conversational history. So the first layer is a persona, then the user input is added to the conversation history, so that now the model is aware of the prompt and is aware of its persona itself. So based on the persona and the prompt, it's going to respond back to it. So what happens next? So when it responds back, so if you could see, this is a full response code, so it will give us a full response, skip the special tokens and all those stuff. But the issue with these text generation models is that they have been trained on a huge set of chat data. All right, so sometimes what they actually do is that they actually generate response more than what is actually needed. So for example, if you ask a response, the model will answer the response, then it will keep answering, keep asking questions itself and keeps answering. So what it does is that it will basically generate automatic user prompts. All right, so that is because it is being trained on a lot of chat data and it thinks that it should do that. So what I've done here is that I've added a stopping criteria which says, so if the generation, if in fact moves towards a next prompt, which we don't actually give, but the model automatically generates, because our prompt will start with human, I wanted to stop it right there and give us the values until then. All right, until then, what I mean is the values which has recorded, which it has generated until the point which the human is generated. All right, so next I'm basically adding that particular response to the conversation history so that it will be a loop so that the model can be aware of what is happening. All right, then I'm just opening a Gradio app, and if I run this right now, let's see, it'll take some time and it will in fact pop up a chat. Right, so that's the app loading in for us. All right, so if you could see, I hope you can see, this is a whole interface. What we can do is that we can just type in, let's say, just typing in hello. All right, so there you are. Now if I ask it, who are you? Hello, I'm Brent, and I development on Shamla on top of my internet view with any questions. Now if I ask, why did he create you? See, Mona Sharma created me as a personal assistant to help me with various tasks, answer questions to the best of my ability. So it works good. So now let's ask it some general questions. So write me 5 YouTube video titles on machine learning, let's say. Right, there's a typo here. Anyways. All right, sweet. It's good. It's good. It's generating good. So now let's ask some general questions like, what's the capital of England? Who is the Prime Minister of the same? All right, so now as you could see, it says the capital of London is England. I mean, England is London, but the Prime Minister is Boris Johnson. That the reason it's wrong is because that depends on the data it has been trained on. At the latest, it was trained on the data when he was the Prime Minister. That is the reason. All right. So you can also create this as a shareable app, which I've already done. So if you include in the launch parameter share is equal to 2, you'll get a shareable app. You click on this, it will take you to a new page where you can do the same chat. Hello, write me a poem. All right, sweet. So this is how you create a small and easy, quick personal ChatGPT model. So that is all for the video. And I add this entire code in my GitHub, so you can check that out. You can take it out and you can modify it and try out some different cool things if you have anything. All right, so I'll see you in the next.